Welcome back. Now you're going to love this next one. When you think of a normal Mercedes, you think of a cushy-bottom CEO being driven around in utter luxury. But then again, Mercs change into completely different, completely wild animals once you add just 3 letters to their badge, AMG. Kabir Mahajan has the story.
The 3 letters AMG command a high level of respect amongst motorheads. They're performance prestige cars from Mercedes-Benz, just like the M series from BMW and the RS from Audi. Today I'm going to tell you what makes these cars so special.
For starters, like most expensive bespoke cars, these too are handmade. But not on the inside. The engine is the handmade masterpiece. AMGs heading to India will include the ENS Class Saloons, the SL Grand Tourer, the CLS 4-door Coupe and the SLK Roadster. You're probably wondering right now what makes AMG Mercs different from normal Mercs. Put it simply, think of your Mercedes as a poodle. AMGs on the other hand are like bulldogs, that too drunk ones. Let's go. Now while they're all mental, a few of these AMGs are completely pointless. The S-Class, for example, is a rich man's luxury yacht on the road. And AMG have festooned it with a 6-litre V12 with a couple of turbochargers under the hood. So now, it's a very powerful boat. And that said, it still handles like one. But there's no denying the power. 612 brake horsepower could very well melt the tires back to latex. Then there's the E63. Mercs Executive Express in performance car boots. Its 5.4-litre V8 pounds the tarmac with 514 mad horses. Executive Express, huh? I really don't think so. Then there are some which actually do make sense. Case in point, the SL63 AMG. The sheer sound of the 6.3-litre V8 unleashing a merciless 525 horsepower is symphony to motorhead ears. It races to 100 km an hour in 4.6 seconds. If ever there was a planet called happiness, this is what everybody on it would drive. Then there's the SL63's younger brother, the SLK.
The SLK is quite a drive on its own. This AMG version, this takes it to the next level. It is mind-boggling to drive and seriously fast.
And that's because AMG have shoved an absolute tower of power under its bonnet. The 5.4-litre V8 is meant for those who play the numbers game. 360 horsepower, 510 Newton meters of torque, enough to propel this 2-seat rocket to 250 kilometers an hour. The AMGs are all meant to have fun with, but that's where all these cars have the chink in their armor. The absolute barrage of electronics in these cars controls every single thing they do, compromising on the fun all the time.
Now, over the past 20 minutes, we've seen a lot of shiny new metal. But if you're looking for something older, something with some serious miles on the odometer, well, I'm going to walk you through what you should look out for when buying a used Mahindra Scorpio. Now, in this day and age of global recession and global tree hugging, SUV has become a dirty word. But then let's face it, when you're driving around in this controlled chaos that we call Indian traffic, you need something big, handsome and imposing. Now SUVs tend to be pretty expensive, but if you're looking for one on the cheap, there is nothing better than a pre-owned Mahindra Scorpio. They started off with a turbocharged diesel, moved on to a 2.6 CRDE, and now the Scorpio is also available in a 2.2 high-tech aluminum engine which goes by the name of M-Hawk, though that's not very common in the second-hand market. Although there are plenty of turbo diesels around, while buying a used Scorpio, look for the CRDE version. It's a huge improvement on the turbo, and with a 115 bhp and 2.6-litre engine, there is enough power to drive around in the city or cruise on the highway. Now, Scorpios are also very cheap to run and maintain. The CRDE engine gives you an average mileage of 10 kilometers per litre in the city and about 14 on the highway. Spares and service is also very economical and easy. Here are the costs of some of the parts that you might need to replace. The front bumper costs 6,800 rupees and the one at the rear costs 2,800 rupees. A new wing mirror will set you back 1,800 rupees, and that doesn't include painting them the color of your car. So really, drive carefully. Headlamps are also expensive at 5,500 bucks a pop and need to be replaced at the slightest hint of a thump. Tail lamps are yours for relatively less at 1,400 bucks a piece. So that's what works for the car, and here's what doesn't. Now, Mahindra started its life eons ago as a tractor manufacturer, and somehow they do not let you forget that. The ride is rubbish. The car bobs and weaves like a drunken sailor at all speeds, and the build quality is pretty flimsy. But then again, that's what we think. We're going to meet someone who could be a potential Scorpio buyer. Let's find out what he thinks. And with me right now is Dylan Pereira, who's an HR executive, and currently you drive a Honda City.
That's
right?
correct. Yeah.
Now, if you had to change your car and if you had to upgrade, would you ever consider buying a Scorpio?
On a weekday, I would never prefer, getting this car out, because
Okay.
I'm always driven around.
Okay, you don't drive yourself.
I don't drive myself,
Okay.
so I have a driver.
Right.
So, it's more comfortable, in the Honda City, and,
Yeah.
considering I work
Yeah.
on the laptop,
Right.
every day.
So you're saying in the back seat when you're sitting?
I'm not very comfortable. It's a little too bumpy,
Okay, right.
when you're in the back seat. So I guess it's not very comfortable.
Now, if there's anything that a Scorpio does well, it definitely proves that you don't need a whole lot of cash to drive an SUV, which looks good and scares away the little people. Available between 4 and 7 lakhs, it won't burn holes in your bank account either.